I came out here this morning. I guess we'll get right into it. So I had a great conversation on a live last night with Brian Hammond, owner of B Hammer Tackle and creator of the Hammer Rig. The Hammer Rig is a castable or meant to be casted worm harness. This bad boy right here. Now this morning, I showed you guys this last night on live. This is the orange on orange, my favorite color. Brian went into a couple different ones, but my favorite color. I've got other colors, but orange is always where I start. Today I've got a 3-inch Berkeley Gulp leech on the back of it, and this is the only rod I brought, only lure I brought. So I felt empowered after last night's conversation with Brian, learning some of the ins and outs of throwing this rig. I got out here this morning, and within about 20 minutes, I caught my biggest fish of the season. I don't exactly know how big. I'm going to say it was in the 22-inch range. Beautiful big fish. Couldn't get my hand around its shoulders. Had all I could do to get it into the jet ski, honestly. But I feel good about the fact that I've fished these for a couple years now. I'm not really sure, wasn't really sure last night what I was looking for, how to set myself up for the most success with this lure. And again, I want to really thank my guest last night, Brian Hammond, for really in-depth going through and talking about it. Now, here's the thing. I'm not being disparaging to anybody. But I shouldn't say this. It all depends on where you're at and what you want out of your fishing experience. And I guess you could say that about anything, life, relationships, whatever. It's how much effort you're willing to put into said relationship. And I have people tell me all the time, I fish a lot of blades. I have people tell me all the time, I've done countless videos on exactly how I fish my blade from soup to nuts, from start to finish, from rod, reel, line, leader setup, to where I fish it, to how I fish it, to how fast or hard I jig it, all of those things. There's a myriad of factors. It's that way with anything. There's not too terribly many techniques in the world of fishing that don't require any nuance, that don't require any kind of special trick. The biggest thing, no different with throwing a blade bait, is when you're throwing this, is it's got to land in the water straight. I'm watching it fly through the air. Just before it hits the bottom, I grab my line as it's coming off the reel, and I stop it, and it takes everything, goes straight into the water. Doesn't do you any good. You can cast a country mile. Does not do you any good if whatever you have on the other end is wadded up as soon as it hits the water. Not doing you any good. But I came out this morning, I found a piece of shoreline with some weeds on it. I looked them over, they were clean. They were those big, he was talking about coontail last night, and then like those big, they looked like an ear of corn, those big flowy leaves, underwater leaves. And now I've only had just that one fish. I've only had just one bite. I went back over that same spot about 4 times, thinking that maybe I had a school of fish in here. I didn't have anything else to bite. So I am 1 for 1 this morning. can tell you I'm already much more, I have way more confidence this morning in doing this than I've ever had doing it. I guess short of fishing in the boat with Brian, there's which I'm excited to do. Brian and I fished together years before, but we've always jig fished. So I'm really looking forward to throwing spinners with him in the coming weeks, and getting even a more in-depth lesson. I'm all about those lessons. And like Brian said last night, this is just another tool to have in your toolbox. There's nothing going to tell you that oh, it's going to, nothing. There is no magic lure. There is no magic. I mean, it's not like there's something out there that just, you're going to get bit on every cast and no matter what. And that stuff doesn't happen. That doesn't exist. We make it exist in our heads. Tackle manufacturers want it to exist, but it doesn't exist. There is no one thing. And I love my buddy Brian. I tell you, we've been friends a long time, and the reason for that is he's the first one to tell you this is just another tool, and he's not going to tell you that this is the only thing he fishes, because that wouldn't be true. Because no one would ever fish just one thing all the time, everywhere they went, every scenario, shallow, deep. I can't throw a blade in here. You wouldn't even get one jig out of it before it was fouled. I could go throw this out in deep water and drag it on the bottom, but that's not really what it's intended for. So I never think to myself when something new or something catches my eye, I never think, oh, this is going to be it. This will be the exact thing I fish forever. I'll catch fish every day and blah, 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 blah. Doesn't work that way. How much effort you want to put into learning it, to mastering it, to getting it, just as simple as catching your line, get used to catching your line, because I know two techniques that works for all the time. I even do it when I'm throwing stick baits, because I'm watching my lure. Like, I'm not looking like this and just blindly casting once in a while, but I'm watching whatever I've thrown go through the air. Because I want to see that it hits the water right. Because what's the sense of casting if when, you throw it out there and you don't watch it, you're not paying any attention, you bring it back in, the hook's fouled, so you just wasted that whole drift. The lapel mic's not using. It's a little windy out here. The lapel mic isn't working. Sorry. Gary Walters, Rick Menzel, John Lutz, Nat Lussey, Tim G. Pretty smoky out here. Well, I'm in Muskrat Bay right now, and I can't see the islands, and I can't barely see the North Shore. A little fuzzy looking. Yeah. Joe Lejeune, Merlin, Larry Melnick, John Lutz, Rumbleseed. I watched last night's show where it was stated that the fish don't want a bait with any weeds on it. How then do you fish a harness in the weeds? Isn't the harness going to have weeds on it immediately? Well, not immediately, Bob. So I'll tell you right now, the biggest issue I'm having this morning is all the stuff floating. And it's just, as your line's coming through, and it would have done that with anything, and it would have done it out deep, my guess is probably too. It's those long, thin, stringy weeds, this stuff. It's floating all over the surface of it. So this is catching my line just as the line's coming back across the surface. But as far as the big weeds go, you can feel it when it bumps along those stalks. You can feel that in your rod. You're reeling real slow, and you feel it make contact, or you feel it load up, because so here's the stalk, and here comes your lure, and it catches it, and it bends it over, and you keep going like this, and it releases, and it goes boom like this. You can feel all of it, but you're picking weeds off. I've been picking weeds off every cast, but again, it's not the stuff that I'm fishing in, it's the stuff that's floating on top. Yeah, you're using a single hook. Yep. Yep. And two, it does get weeds on it. You're absolutely correct. Now, as this blade spins, all right, I'm not going to be able to do this so the camera can see it. As that blade spins like this, so see my hook point? This is about the arc of that blade spinning, all right? So theoretically, it's supposed to keep it weedless. Now, I have an exposed hook. You could easily go in Texas rig something that went across the face of it like that, which I was doing with I was fishing a Berkeley power worm a little while ago, and then I switched back to the leech. Fishing the weeds, you're going to catch weeds. That's an inevitable thing, but the trade-off is those fish live in the weeds. All these fish live in the weeds. I'm a little shocked that I haven't had more bites than just that one this morning, but it is kind of weird out here today, don't get me wrong. Randy Gushlaw, great show last night. I asked a question about scenting lures. What is your thoughts? If you want to scent, how much difference does it make? I don't know, but I don't think there's ever a time where you can't scent. I'm fishing scented lures. I'm fishing gulp and power bait, so that's going to give off its own scent. You could add extra scent, absolutely. A gel scent, something that'll stick, and maybe coat the beads with it or something. I mean, there's any number of ways. Do I think you can scent? Absolutely. No question. Gary Walters, boat update. I don't have an update. I don't even know if the fuel pump came in yet, and I have a feeling my buddy's already in Alaska. So I'm going to go up this weekend if I don't hear from him and grab it and, I don't know, figure it out. Thanks, Jim Wild Rookies. All right, well, so I left the dock this morning at 6. It was cold. It was only in the 40s. It's cold out here now. We got a beautiful drift. It's the best drift we've had in weeks. Winds out of the northwest. It's probably 5 to 8, 5 to 10. We got a beautiful drift right here. Not too fast. Might not even be, more like 5 miles an hour. I don't happen to know water temp, but got to be right around 70. Weeds are coming up nicely. Ton of floating crap out there. Saw my first mayfly husks this morning on the jet ski. So there was a few of them that must have hatched last night. I haven't seen any out here yet. We're at 15 minutes, so I'm going to call it a day. I got a half-tiled bathroom that's calling my name. So on a windy day from Oneida Lake, I want to thank everybody for joining me this morning. And,